Hello everybody and welcome back to another installment of Zero Tech Extreme. I am your host, Savory Milkman, and my OnePlus battery is shit out of luck. It has a manufacturer's defect on it. AccuBattery has shown me that there is a pretty substantial amount of degradation going on in the battery. So while I'm waiting for my FedEx label to have this battery repaired, I thought I'd take a second to go over one of my personal favorite custom ROMs that is available for the OnePlus 6. There are not a lot of videos available on this, so if you'd like a little more stuff on custom ROMs and stuff like that, please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. I will be sure to get back to you with more custom ROMs and all that other good stuff. Anyway, so while we're here, Havoc OS 2.0 is one of my favorite ROMs, and there are a couple of reasons why. Number one, it doesn't come with any bloatware of any kind. Number two, it comes with the actual Oxygen OS camera, not a ported G cam, which is always a good thing. Number three, believe it or not, while I'm waiting for my FedEx label and I'm suffering with battery issues, it does better on my battery life. Why this is actually the case is still a little bit unknown to me, but I can go over a couple of things for Havoc OS and what it seems to feature. So, starting off, this is what it looks like when you start it up, and it does come with the Pixel Launcher as a default. Yeah, there it is. It does come with Pixel Launcher as a default, and the Pixel Launcher works very well. No complaints there, aside from the fact that it is the Pixel Launcher. So why do I like this ROM over maybe even stock Oxygen OS? Well, first and foremost is I did mention battery, and AccuBattery has shown that there is a pretty substantial amount of battery degradation on my device, which is a little bit weird because I bought it in October and I'm very careful with how hard I drive my battery, and I do go out of my way to keep it charged between 40 and 65% at all times. I know I'm one of these absolute nut jobs, but so until I actually get the label to send it back to OnePlus, I will be using this ROM just because, you know, it's not killing my battery quite as quickly. There are so many features in Havoc OS, and everything is working. Everything that you would need, NFC, Google Pay, everything is working on this freaking thing. Just a couple of things to take note of. Is that where the OnePlus 6 is an AB partition, and I will actually reboot this in real time to show everybody. The OnePlus 6 is an AB partition scheme, and they claim that this is to benefit OTA updates and stuff like that. Being that Havoc OS is almost a pure AOSP ROM, when you do actually put it in, try to flash it, it will only boot to the B partition because it is a single partition ROM. So flashing it is very simple. Wipe, advanced wipe. And I've already done this, and I'm not going to do it again because I just don't feel like it. You wipe everything except internal storage. This is assuming that you have the stock firmware already installed, so the latest version of Oxygen OS has to be installed before you can install this. That is not a joke, you have to have it. No custom, don't flash it from a custom ROM, don't dirty flash it, don't do anything like that. After you have wiped the Dalvik Art cache, the system, and the data, you will go to install Havoc OS from either the SD card TWRP, where I save all my stuff, or from a USB OTG storage, and you will flash Havoc OS to both the A and the B partition. To do so, you just hit reboot and switch it over. Now by default, it does boot to the B slot. My camera is having a very difficult time picking this up right now, but it does boot by default to the B slot. But regardless, flash it to both. Usually it starts off on A, so flash A, flash B, then flash your TWRP one more time. And then after doing so, you reboot back to your recovery. You should have TWRP working 100%. And from booting to your recovery, you can flash Magisk, Open Gaps, if that's your thing, F-Droid, whatever you feel like doing. And upon boot, back to system, you should be greeted with the very, 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 very sexy way to totally kill my timing on this one. Come on. Come on. There it is. With the very, very, very sexy Havoc OS boot animation right there. And honestly, I have to say, it scores lower on Antutu. It scores lower on Geekbench. Does that bother me? A little bit. But it doesn't score so much lower that that I absolutely cannot recommend it. But it is something to take into account that it did score lower in Antutu and in Geekbench. Not by a substantial amount, but just by enough that that I do feel it necessary to mention in this video. So continuing onwards, you can do basically whatever you want. You're free to do it. Another thing that I like about it is that when I check into developer options and I check in my running services, so I just booted it, right? Those are my running services. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running services, including one boot service. Do you see that? Do you see that? That is all I have running in the background. When I boot into Oxygen OS, I have 17 of these things, including an NV backup and all this other crap that I don't need. This is all that is really needed to have it running smoothly and running well. Yeah, so if you want more information on Havoc OS, you really just try it for yourself. The Smurf kernel that comes with it stock is fantastic. I do find that overclocking the graphics processing unit on the 845, the Adreno 630, is a little bit of overkill, especially if you're not going to be gaming. So if you haven't already, you should purchase the EX kernel manager, and you can just set that over there. Max GPU frequency. The stock is 710 megahertz. Just keep it at that for regular usage. There's no need to use more than you absolutely have to. Whenever you want to run a game, just pop back into EX kernel manager and just clock it back up. And I do assure you that the battery drain and the performance is absolutely stable, and I recommend it to anybody who wants to try something that's not at the Oxygen OS variety. I definitely recommend it because Oxygen OS at this point does need a little bit of competition. There's no question about it. They cannot be the only kids on the block without any pressure from anybody else to optimal software, to have the best running software. So even though Havoc OS, in my experience, is running just a little bit behind, it's lagging just a little bit behind on performance, the fact of the matter is it's still strong enough to pose a viable competition, and I think OnePlus should be taking that into consideration when they do their future updates, whether it be beta or stable or however they wish to do it. Alright guys, so that's my video on Havoc OS 2.0. Please like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, leave a comment for either or, and hit subscribe for future videos. Till next time, Savory Milkman signing off.